We are live. I'm here, brought to you by Polar Seltzer, at least during the advertisement that runs at the front of the show. All right, Robin Lundberg Show, back here with you in full effect. And, yesterday was cool. What happened with Diana Taurasi and Caitlin Clark yesterday was really cool. That was, I think, a much-needed moment for the WNBA and women's basketball as a whole. Because it's been this record-breaking season, right? Like, there's no way, and I've said this a million times, there's no better indicator of Twitter and the internet not being real life than this situation right now, right? Where Caitlin Clark can be on the road and 17,000 people stand up and cheer her on the road. All different kinds of people, all different walks of life, all saying, hey, we're fans of yours. We like watching you play basketball. And that's this movement that has occurred that has helped lift up women's basketball as a whole and the WNBA as a whole. Yet, in the midst of it, you've had these, I don't even want to call them bad actors necessarily, but, you've had people hijack it and make it seem to be negative somehow. Whether that was because of the Kennedy Carter foul on Caitlin Clark or the Angel Reese foul, which was much more pedestrian than the Kennedy Carter foul, or Caitlin being asked, for her social responsibility with her platform and her voice and the Olympic team thing and so on and so forth. I forget. It's hard to, when people throw in race and sexuality and gender and all these things into the mix. When the truth is, this has been a great moment for women's sports, for women's basketball, for basketball as a whole. And it was nice to see DT recognize it. Because Taurasi, the whole reality is coming comment, in some ways set the tone for the greeting that Clark received in the league. Not deliberately. I'm not saying there was anything bad about it. But I think in a way, all this hype and hysteria is around Clark, and the league had been there. And the women in the league had been there, and they've been playing and busting their tails and have, as you can all see, they're excellent players, right? So I think that comment set that tone a little bit to say, hey, you're not going to come in here and we're all going to just bend the knee to Caitlin Clark. And there was this process of adjustment and initiation and whatever the case may be. But bottom line is, there is an old saying, real recognize real. And Diana Taurasi is a proven legend. That's why even when people were getting mad at her for her tone or her comments in the past, I always defended her standing. Because just because you're brand new to the league or women's basketball doesn't mean she hasn't accomplished what she's accomplished, because she has. She was voted the GOAT by fans in 2021, I believe. So, you're talking about the all-time leading scorer in the league. You're talking about a 20-year vet who's still going at 42 years old, which is impressive in and of itself. Like, Diana can still play, right? I mean, she played pretty well in that game. She could still play. So she deserves her respect, and she deserves to be recognized. But I think we're now at this point where Caitlin Clark is undeniable. You see the level of excellence that she is sustaining from both there's the deep three aspect of the game, and then there is the vision. Like, Caitlin Clark has as good a vision as anyone in basketball, period. Male, female, anything in between. Like, sorry. But she has the best vision in basketball, period. Or as good a vision as anyone in basketball, period. And I think you've now seen the Fever winning games. They're 7-4 this month. They're in playoff position. They go on the road into Phoenix against a good Mercury team and win the game, in large part because of what Caitlin Clark was able to do in the third quarter. Now, Caitlin's not doing it on her own. She needed Kelsey Mitchell to chip in, who's been excellent as a scorer. Obviously, she's got that connection with Aaliyah Boston, and that's worked really well as a two-person game so far for the Fever, especially after a rough start. I thought Erica Wheeler did a nice job playing off of Clark as another ball handler, as another threat out on the floor. They're getting nothing from the small forward spot. Christy Wallace is just out there doing cardio. They need to upgrade that spot. But, overall, she's getting some help from her teammates. And the Fever look like a real team now. Not like a dominant squad, but a real team. And I'm at the point where I'd be surprised if they're not playing in the playoffs. I mean, a lot of teams make the playoffs in the WNBA. It's not some like tremendous accomplishment to make the playoffs. But if I had told you from where this team started that they'd be in playoff position, I think you would have kind of scoffed at that idea. But I think they're better than Chicago. I think they're better than Dallas. I think they're better than LA. I think they're better than Washington. And I think they're better than Atlanta. Right now they're sitting at 8. I think they can move up to 7 past Atlanta. Phoenix is now 9-9 on the season. It was the first win over a 500 team. The Fever have the Aces and Asia Wilson up next, the defending back-to-back champs. And then they've got the All-Star game announcement tomorrow night as well. So I just thought that was a cool move by Diana to really let her guard down. Because I've said before, Diana's very competitive, right? And she just she let her shoulders down, she let her guard down, and she gave it up. She gave up the props. And it's really the respect that, Caitlin's game has commanded respect. There's just no way, eventually you're just a hater, right? That's the way it works. Eventually you're just a hater. And if you're still crapping on her and still denying it, you're just a hater. And Diana Taurasi showed she's not a hater. Brittany Griner, by the way, same deal. Griner before the game seemed to say something really nice. I don't know obviously what it was, but she pulled Clark to the side. And it's pretty amazing. You see, I think Caitlin Clark's fans really appreciated all that. And now they're probably the tone you'll see, even in a show like this, will be so much different than it was prior around Diana Taurasi. And then I think that was just what the WNBA needed to cleanse the palate. And now it's all going to be about basketball. Look, Caitlin's not on the Olympic team. It is what it is. She's good enough to be on the Olympic team, but I think we're past that. And now you have, the GOAT, Mama GOAT recognizing baby GOAT in that sense. And I think that was a big and much needed moment for the sport. Appreciate all you guys already being in here, including these super chats from Kevin Zwicker, who says Clark is the truth, and my Aces taking the W tomorrow. I forgot he's an Aces fan. In fact, Kevin is actually here in my house right now. So, Kevin, would you like to say hello to the people? I don't have a dual. It's almost easier for me to do it remotely, but I don't have a dual setup. But here's Kevin.
What's up, guys? There's a little known fact that you guys don't know. If you become a WWR member, if you send a certain amount of super chats, you automatically enter the Lumberg estate. So please sign up for the WWR and get the super chats coming if you would like to be in the Lumberg estate.
Yeah, Kevin was here for Forbidden Door, the AEW show in Long Island, and he actually swung by on Friday night. We went to Tony Soprano's house. Tony Soprano's house is in my neighborhood. And also, he came by today, so we're going to watch Monday Night Raw later. And I wanted to make sure Kevin got the shout out on camera. While we're doing the on-camera shout outs, let me also, as AJ Schreiber says, Kevin, don't poop in the office. Kevin's now met. Kevin, you've gotten your experience with Big Bro. You can see Big Bro's personality. Here is AJ Schreiber, my guy. These are the two official, unofficial producers of the show. AJ likes to do all the stuff from his bedroom. AJ, what do you?
We're down in the basement.
Okay.
All right? I don't have a fancy office like you. So I'm all right, let me try and position this a little better so I'm not laying in bed like I was last time I was on the air with you.
What are you sitting on? Is it a stool?
Yeah, I just got a stool and I got some little table propped up here. I'm I gotta hide this light behind my head. I'm not a professional. This isn't what I do.
Well, because AJ was actually at the Chicago Sky game yesterday against the who they play, the Lynx, right? The Minnesota Lynx.
The Commissioner's Cup champion. links.
That is true. The Commissioner's Cup champion links. Figured we'd bring AJ on as a Sky correspondent. Angel Reese got that backdoor double-double yesterday.
She was trying for it. You could tell, like, the last 3 minutes of that game, it was get the ball to Angel so she can try and get this bullshit double-double. Like, it's such a farce. Like, you look at the stat sheet. I mean, okay, she shot 25% from the floor. Incredible. Like, it dawned on me. She finished the game with like 16 rebounds, right?
17 rebounds, I think. I mean, she rebounds the basketball. You
But
can't
like
take that away from her.
five of those were her own offensive rebound from her own missed layups. Like, she pads the offensive boards because she keeps missing, easy layups.
I brought that up before. The one thing I'll say though in her defense is, what is she not supposed to get the rebound?
Oh, for sure.
She's relentless to the basket. I mean, rebounding. She now leads. I agree with your assessment of the double-double yesterday, and it's kind of hilarious. She got it, and Clark was one rebound away from the triple-double, and Angel is sort of using this double-double statistic in the Rookie of the Year race, but she does lead the entire WNBA in rebound per game and total rebounds. So some of them are on her own misses, but you cannot take away her motor and her pursuit of the basketball.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was interesting. Like, my wife even mentioned it. I went to the game with my wife. It was our first time at a WNBA game. So it was a great experience. But it just seemed like Angel was always the last one back down the floor on defense. Like, she was laboring down the floor in a way that, like, I hadn't seen since that LSU game against Caitlin in the semifinals, where it just looked like she was just kind of like dragging herself back on defense, and it was noticeable. But I got to say, the fans in Chicago, like, they have fully embraced her. Granted, it was my first time at a game, but I cannot even tell you the amount of young girls, black, white, all rocking the Angel Reese number 5 jersey. There was so much excitement and energy for Angel. It was really exciting to see how she's been kind of just taken in, and she's embracing it. And a lot of those jerseys that I saw people wearing, they were all autographed. So, like, she's clearly sticking around after these games, and she's autographing for all of these kids. It's a great thing to see.
Yeah, no, definitely. You want to say what's up to Kevin real quick?
What's up there, Kev?
Hey, Jay, what's up, brother?
Dude, I heard you were holding up a sign for the Around the Ropes podcast. Like, it's crazy.
Me, but there was a sign, man. He didn't want to believe me. I was telling him.
Well, I'm glad that you made it there, because I heard traffic was a little bit of a pain for you.
The worst experience ever. If anybody is in this chat lives in the middle of what was the up north area, the Jersey, New York, I don't know how you can do it, dude. It's very excruciating.
Well, you can't go from New Jersey to Long Island. You just can't do it. Like, you either live in Long Island or you live in New Jersey. Like, you don't go between the two.
I'm a noob. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, is this like all like a show? Like, do you really just like live in the basement there, and like you're just like finally showing yourself? Or
he throws me? I'm like an animal, man. He throws me some graham crackers when he needs me to get my energy up so we can make the videos. By the way, I did stop by at the OVO store in Manhattan and bought myself a nice OVO hat, nice OVO shirt, and those who celebrate, Happy Canada Day.
I feel like that's an extra level of commitment that nobody needs. But nonetheless, AJ, appreciate the correspondent work.
no
there's
problem.
that.
Got my bubbly sponsorship deal going, just like you.
Yeah, those are good, right? Like, did you have them at Target?
Yeah, the melted ice pop. I'll tell you what, it's got just a subtle hint of flavor. It's not like an overwhelming taste. So I'm actually pretty happy about that.
All right, man. Appreciate you as
Hey,
always.
congrats on. I heard you had a little bit of a viral video over the weekend. So
well, I don't even know if it's technically viral as much as like just the support of the people out there, right? Like it wasn't even it's just on YouTube. Like the Clark and what we're talking about today, 100,000 views in I haven't checked in a minute, but it's over 100,000 views. So thank you to
awesome.
everybody out there.
Much deserved.
Thank you, dude. And also make sure you check out Women's Fast Break on SI. The link is in the description below. There's an article about this topic we're talking about right now, WNBA rookie rankings, all that stuff. So click on that link in the description. Also, just a heads up, this may be the only live show of the week, simply because tomorrow the Fever play the Aces at night, and then you got the 4th and all that. And I'm going to be doing Hello Radio coming up this week. I'm going to grind myself into dust, people, between this show and the website, and I'll be doing Mad Dog slot on Sirius XM, channel 82, Wednesday through Friday from 3 to 6 in the afternoon. And I will also be doing Maggie and Perloff slot on, what are they called now? Infinity Radio. It used to be CBS Sports Radio, from 6 to 10 in the morning on Thursday and Friday. So afternoon radio Wednesday, morning radio Thursday, afternoon radio Thursday, morning radio Friday, afternoon radio Friday, Denise Salcedo's SmackDown show on Saturday. And of course, Friday night, sorry, after SmackDown. And then, of course, I'll cover all the Fever games in between and all the other relevant WNBA and women's basketball storylines in between. So just a heads up, this may be the only live show of this week, and then I'll be back to normal next week, if that is indeed the case. If something pops up tomorrow, I could still do one tomorrow, but just a programming note. Make sure you click on the link below, Women's Fast Break on SI. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, and all that. And now I will get to your comments for today's show. Let's see. We've got Tiger Lear saying, Rookie of the Year, Caitlin. She leads the WNBA in assists, also in three-pointers made. My first personal favorite is her passing and vision, true team player. Yeah, I said it at the top of this show. Caitlin Clark's vision is as good as anyone's in the sport. Male, female, what have you. I mean, LeBron James is up there, obviously. I'm trying to think of who else even, she reminds me of Steve Nash. That's why I said Steve Nash with Steph Curry range. And Jason Kidd, too. Those are the three players. The combination of those three, because when she gets the ball on the rebounds and pushes it, that's like Kidd. Nobody can deal with that. Even the Phoenix coach said after the game they couldn't handle the pace, and that pace was because Caitlin was getting the rebound and pushing it herself. And then she sprays that sucker off the floor mad quick. In the half court, she's kind of like Nash in keeping the dribble alive, sort of working her teammates open, that craftiness. And then, of course, there's the deep threes that we just haven't seen in women's basketball before that she's taking. I mean, forget Rookie of the Year. Caitlin Clark is one of the best players in the WNBA, rookie or not. She is. Look, I'm not rehashing the Olympics thing. It is what it is. It's a done deal. It's not worth crying over spilt milk. She is one of the 12 best players in the world, and the idea that that's not true is insanity to me at this point. Let's go to Nike Rawhide. That was a big thing. Also, them chatting and laughing in the middle of the court while on the free throw break, big thing. Yeah, Taurasi showed love and respect. And that was a big thing. That was like a huge moment. Salute to Diana for that. Look, Diana is a legend. She's a legend of the game. And I think her, she's a little acerbic and obviously a little competitive. So some of that came across in her earlier comments. But when it came time to show love, she did what she needed to do, and I think set the tone for the rest of the league going forward. I do think she set the tone for the rest of the league going forward. Sheila Hall says, all that with a migraine, unbelievable. I understand Caitlin has dealt with migraines for a while. I mean, my wife deals with migraines. I know that they can be intense. I've never had a migraine myself, which I guess is a good thing. Well, not I guess, definitely a good thing. But yes, clearly is able to focus through that. And maybe one of the reasons she didn't get that one rebound, though Christy Sides could have left her in instead of offense-defense substitutions. She could have let her stat pad like Teresa Weatherspoon did with Angel Reese. Doug Phelps said standing O as she walked off the court. Yeah, on the road, right? That's the difference. That's what you're seeing with a Caitlin Clark. And this really, it's a phenomenon. it's Michael Jordan. Like this is not a normal occurrence. This is a once in a lifetime generational thing. Hence why I've, directed my career in this direction. Fatamoni says Caitlin Clark is a better post defender than Angel Reese. Changed my mind. Look, Angel's not much of a shot blocker. I think Caitlin might be averaging more shots blocked than Angel, but I think Angel's a good versatile defender. I mean, she steals the ball well. She actually guards pretty well on the perimeter, especially for a big. And look, it's okay to like Angel and Caitlin. I think Caitlin's clearly the rookie of the year in my mind, but in a normal year, Angel Reese would be the rookie of the year. Like in a non-Caitlin Clark year, Angel Reese would be the rookie of the year. So salute to both of them. It was sad that Sides didn't recognize Clark was one rebound from a triple-double. I mean, she'll live. She'll get there. She'll get there this year, too. She'll do it. Michael S. says DT is still good. That is true, too. Like, DT is, she's 42, 20 seasons. That ain't regular. That ain't normal. It's pretty damn cool. It's pretty damn cool. We're seeing LeBron doing it on the men's side of things, and we're seeing Diana do it on the women's side of things. And you're talking about the all-time leading scorer, in league history. So I think, pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, let's get next to who do we got? Sheila. Sheila says DT and BG showed class at the end of the game. Yeah, and before. I mean, Griner. I bet you the tune changed on Brittany Griner for some of y'all mad quick. They need to call Brittany Griner for traveling sometimes. She's allowed to get away with more traveling in the WNBA than in real life. But she's a huge presence, by the way, BG is. She's really skilled and talented and makes a huge difference for that team. Super chat from my guy, AJ, who says, I'm going to do a bit when I'm in Europe. I'm going to ask random Brits, French, and Italians if they know who CC is. I bet she's already a worldwide brand. Yeah, send me the video. We'll make it into a TikTok or something, AJ, or a reel, whatever you want to call it. Just spray them out on every platform. Tiger Lear adds, Caitlin has beaten 3 Olympians, Taurasi, Griner, and Copper. See, she should be on the Olympic team. I mean, look, I agree she should be. You never know, but it is what it is now, But yeah, they beat a team over 500. And the thing is, in the long run, if she does get that break, it's going to make that second half of the season even more exciting because I think you're going to see Caitlin completely freshed, her game possibly a little bit more polished, and all these things that are going to lend themselves to a huge stretch run. And I think you're going to see the fever in the playoffs, which will be great for the game and the sport. And who knows how well they'll be playing by then. Jay says, refreshing to see a W vet welcome her. Yeah, I think that's the way a lot of people felt. I think there was a big moment for the game and the sport. I really do. I think that was the end. It should have been the end. Look, you're going to get people who try to still shit stir. It's just the nature of the biz. But I think that was the real end of the animosity, the negativity, the nonsense when it comes to the sport. Heather says, I was at the Phoenix game and it was amazing. Second game in a month for me, so I saw the difference between CC game and the other was in LA with Brink in the lineup. Oh, yeah, Caitlin's also, gotten better. She had a really good game against the Sparks, though, in LA, if that's the one you're talking about. That's the one where she hit the 2 threes late, right? And did the shrug. I'm pretty sure that was that game. D Shroot 8 says, the fact that the Mercury put their best offender on CC is wild. They sacrificed Copper getting worn out on defense. Yeah, well, you could see Kalia Copper sort of, take it personally, like Dejanay Carrington did. And that's the kind of competitiveness I like to see. DSI Sahande says, still don't see CC covered much on national shows. Good. I hope not. Let them all come here. You know what part of that is, DS, is the powers that be have not adjusted to the reality. Because when you are programming a sports show, the WNBA was never on the agenda. That's just the truth. It was never even something that was considered to be covered. So those habits are hard to break. And I think that might be one reason, because if you were just doing this based on interest, it's insanity. Not that CC should be covered on every show every day in some way, shape, or form. Pretty much. Maybe not over the Olympic break when, that's something I'm going to have to figure out, what we're covering, what we're talking about, what I'm covering and talking about during that Olympic break. Obviously, the women's basketball team will be part of that. But yeah. The Aces, by the way, have moved their game against the Fever to T-Mobile Arena, expanding the seating capacity by 33% from 12,000 to 18,000 seats. This is going to be a huge game tomorrow night. I mean, the sport is changing. This is it. Like, we're in the middle of, take a look to your left, take a look to your right, take a deep breath in, and realize, you're living through history right now. We're living through history right now. AJ says, I didn't realize the chat moderator had to move into Robin's house. Good for you, Kev. Look, it's a cool... I think when I told Denise, by the way, that a fan was coming to my house, it was probably in my house at the end of the show Friday night. She was like, what? Because Kevin had sent a super chat into Denise's show on Friday as well. Where are we adding this? I'm trying, guys, to keep up with the chats in here. Where are we at? Close Quarters says, there's better players on the bench than Wallace now, and they aren't getting played. No guarantee Kate Martin would get a chance either. Sides clearly see something in Wallace, most don't. Yeah, Wallace looks like she hustles. That's about it to me, but I don't know what else she offers, because she's not particularly good on defense. She never hits an open three. She botches every layup attempt. I'm not sure. Again, she's out there doing cardio. Good for her, getting those steps in. But they look so much better when they went to Erica Wheeler. In fact, I wouldn't even mind that change in the starting lineup, because when Wheeler's in there, it mixes things up, because she can actually handle the ball. She's the only other player on the team that can really handle the ball, as a point guard. So I think it helps Caitlin to be freed up off the ball. So, you know what? You want Caitlin to have the ball in her hands, obviously. Again, every time she rebounds, she should push it. And she should have plenty of possessions where she's starting and initiating, and her vision is extraordinary. At the same time, in order to make life easier for her, you can't always give her the same look every time. And when she's off the ball, the defense can't play those blitzes, can't, overload on her. And I think that helps when Wheeler's in the game. And Wheeler can also score herself a little bit. Not like Kelsey Mitchell score, but score for sure. Kenny Mack says the mama goat recognizing the kid. Lord Schaefer with a laughing emoji. I'm not sure in reference to what, but Kim Kelly says, question as of now, whom would you pick for Rookie of the Year? Caitlin Clark, no questions asked. It's not, I don't even think it's particularly close. Like I said, I think in a normal year, Angel Reese would be the Rookie of the Year. When I say it's not particularly close, I don't mean that as a slight to Angel whatsoever. She's leading the entire league in rebounding. She's leading in rebounds per game. She's, even though yesterday's double-double was a bit garbage, nonetheless, she's got 10 straight double-doubles. She is a star in her own right. She's popular with the kids. Chicago has embraced her. Barbie's a great, I'm a fan of Angel Reese, but I think Caitlin Clark is already one of the best players in the league, period. Right? Not just for a rookie, for a player, period. And considering the responsibility that Clark has, considering the production Clark has had, considering the winning the Fever are doing, I really just don't see how anybody could pick anybody else but Caitlin Clark for Rookie of the Year. Go Barter Garcia says Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner showed class to Caitlin. Michael LeBlanc, who was buddies back in Atlanta. Oh, her and Christy Wallace. Is that what we're talking about? Heather Como says CC was kind of in DT's head from the get-go during warm-up. DT was not hitting many threes. CC came out from the locker room, was handed the ball, hit a three from the exit midcourt, and the crowd went nuts. Look, I don't think she's in Diana's head. I mean, I think Diana's been there, done that, been around the block. She's a hooper. And I think, again, it's like I said, the old saying is real recognize real. And that's what you saw with Diana Taurasi and Caitlin Clark. You can't watch Caitlin Clark play basketball and hate on her. You're out of your mind. Like, you're just a pure hater if that's what you're doing. And Diana's not a pure hater. She's a hooper. She's a hooper. Let's go next to Liberty, who says Reese is awesome. Doug Phelps says good for Angel. Tiger Lear says this guy had about 8,000 fans. Fever Mercury had over 70. Look, we all understand, like, Caitlin's the most popular. You don't have to guys always have to bring it up. That doesn't matter if the league is growing too. And, I think outside of Caitlin, it's Asia Wilson and Angel Reese are the most popular. And the Sky are doing good and Angel's doing good. But, you want it's better for everybody if, the rest of the league does well. Matt LeBlanc thanks Kevin for the Canada Day shout out. He says he lives there. John Blaine of the Around the Ropes podcast says, hey guys. Mike Kick Bush says, let's go. Bright Smith says, what's up, Robin? What's up? Mike LeBlanc adds that Steve Nash is another fellow Canadian. That is also true. Dominique Belcher says, didn't realize she spoke Spanish in regards to Taurasi. Yeah, I think Taurasi complimented Clark in English and in Spanish. BT616 says, do you remember that Kobe Jordan picture with them holding their knees on the court? Yeah, the WNBA needed that with Taurasi and CC in the Olympics. Also, Reese, Asia Wilson, missed opportunity. It would be interesting to see both Reese and Clark go to the Olympics. But the cool thing is also going to be they're going to be on the same team in the All-Star game, Reese and Clark, against the Olympic team. That's going to be like All-Star games have lost their luster across the board. The WNBA All-Star game is going to be the biggest sporting event of the summer, I kind of think. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese on the same team against Taurasi and Asia Wilson in the Olympic team? Come on. Come on. Ricardo Campos Jr. says she did set the tone since DT runs the WNBA. C-Man says, love Diana and Brittany Griner for showing CC love, hugging her, and then laughing together, talking through the game. Love. Enrique, only other vet to do it in a preseason game. I think we are at our record for most concurrence right now, guys, which is pretty cool. Coming off the video yesterday. Couple more super chats from AJ and DS. We'll start with AJ. To go off what you said earlier, Robin, put it this way. We are witnessing the live telling of the 30 for 30 that's going to drop in 25 years. Absolutely. I mean, look, Caitlin Clark, knock on this glass here. If she stays healthy and everything, she's going to go down as one of the greatest athletes of all time. No question in my mind. Like, from production and how good she is, she's a generational talent combined with impact. She's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime athlete. DS says, thoughts on PG to Philly and Clay to Dallas. Look, Clay can still shoot the ball. That's the last thing to go. So I think Dallas needed something else. It's a smart move for the Mavericks. I think the Thunder actually got better than anybody, though, with the Hartenstein signing and Caruso. Those were the two things they could really use that they picked up. Caruso's just one of those glue type of hustle players that makes every team better. And the Thunder really needed another big. And Hartenstein's a good all-around big. He really moves well without the ball. He's got that little float game. So I think the Thunder may have made themselves the favorite in the West. Paul George to the Sixers makes it a 3-team race in the East, I would say, with the Sixers, the Celtics, obviously the favorites, and the Knicks. Like, those, Paul George, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey is a hell of a trio. That's a hell of a trio if they can shore up the rotation and not be completely thin. But yeah, you got to like Paul George to the Sixers, I think. Kevin, why are you saying no? Just because you root for the Knicks?
No, 'cause PG and Embiid are always hurt, so it's not going to be a big deal.
It's always a caveat when Paul was out there healthy for the playoffs this year, wasn't he?
One time in like the last 6 seasons.
I feel like Kawhi is hurt more than Paul George is, but DS adds, could the Fever develop a Sun style 7 seconds or less offense a la Steve Nash? I mean, I think you see them pushing the pace right now. Let me see where I got to go back up in the chat here. Trying to go sort of chronologically. Heather adds, I've never been to a game that was that loud, by far the best ever. I had season tickets in 1998. Dominique Belcher says, I'm a big fan of Jewel Lloyd, but I agree. I think CC is one of the best. Lloyd was terrific in that game with the Fever and the Storm. She was terrific in that game. I'm not taking anything away from anybody else. I just think Caitlin belongs in the conversation with the best players in the league. Different type of players, too. Michael S. adds, the Phoenix coach said they had a problem with the pace in the third quarter. And that pace was Clark. The pace was Clark getting the ball herself and going. That was the pace. That was the difference there. That was the difference there. BT616 says, so Reese is averaging 14 rebounds in her last 5 games. That's nuts. Look, she's leading the entire league in rebounds. I mean, she can rebound. There is no question about that. AJ's spending all his lunch money in here today. Robin, do you think Lewis Hamilton has a shot to win the F1 British Grand Prix this weekend? I heard Mercedes is bringing an update to the car. Well, if Mercedes is bringing an update to the car, considering Lewis Hamilton is one of like 3 F1 racers I've ever heard of, I would say that he has a chance. Like, is Charles Leclerc in the race? Charles Leclerc? Is that his name? Otherwise, I'm going with my guy Lewis Hamilton, man, in the souped up Mercedes. Peter Mann says Brittany Griner should only travel without luggage. Just look at the Brittany Griner thing became like such a stupid political storm. You know what I mean? Like the girl didn't look. Nobody. We all get it. Don't break the law in a foreign country, but she didn't do anything, right? Like she didn't do anything of gravity or seriousness to deserve to be held in a Russian prison. She was held there because of who she is and because that gave them leverage. So it was all a bigger deal than it really should have been. And I'm glad she's home and doing okay, as everyone should be. Bobby Hughes says, I think the word has come down from the top brass to lay off the goose that lays the golden eggs. Well, I mean, I also, like, again, I think Caitlin demands the respect. You know, her game demands the respect. You cannot watch her play and not come away with respect. Judy Girl, CC equals baby goat. Oh, look at this. Squizzle says, DT showed so much class and respect to CC. My heart melted. Michael S. says, WFAN only spoke about Clark when they played the Sky for the first time. They don't watch or report on a single game. Well, first, I'll give them a little benefit of the doubt because they're a local sports talk station. So, you know, they're focused on New York sports. I bet you they don't talk about the Liberty either. But they're also an old school mentality. And I'm telling you, I've been in the business a long time. I guarantee you, there are just the way things have been done. And part of that has not been discussing the WNBA. And look, the more that the traditional outlets don't talk about it, the better for me. Because this show, these videos, the site I'm running, all that stuff is proof that the demand is there. So I'm the supply. That'd be how it works. Derby says, does anyone know when Caitlin Clark plays next? How do I watch the next game? Yeah, she plays tomorrow night. The Las Vegas Aces. I believe that game is on ESPN at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. They will announce the all-star teams at 9 o'clock. So they're doing a big broadcast. They know they got another big game here coming up. You know, is this the last big game for them before the break that break's coming up in like middle of July. I mean, Caitlin's almost going to have a month off, which is going to be probably huge for her. Old Bad Gamer says, can we talk about our own coach continues to try to hold her down? She was run rebound off the first ever rookie triple-double and sat her for 2 minutes. Shake my head. Look, we can talk about this. If you have criticism of Christy Sides, fair. Right? Like, if you would like to criticize Christy Sides and give a real reason to criticize her, she has earned some criticism. She's not sabotaging Caitlin Clark. None of her teammates are sabotaging Caitlin Clark. That is a ridiculous conspiracy theory that I'm telling you is insane. It is insane on its face. Why in the freaking world would Christy Sides try to sabotage Caitlin Clark? How does that benefit her in any possible conceivable way? How does it benefit her teammates to sabotage her in any possible conceivable way? That is stupid. You could say she should have left her in. You could say she should make a lineup change. You could say she doesn't have an inventive scheme, whatever you want to say. Like, she shouldn't say this in the post-game press conference. But I promise you, there's no deliberate sabotage going on. I promise you that. AJ Schreiber says, frivolous honeymoon spending has already commenced. Yes, of all your tweets, that was probably the most frivolous expense so far. Yeah. Peter Mann says, Robin's disrespect for DC characters should be addressed. DC needs equal representation in the backdrop. Replace the Hulk with Batman. End of injustice. Dude, Marvel's just so much better than DC. It's just like not even close. I'm sorry, so much cooler. And that's before the movies. All the DC characters wear their underwear on the outside. They all are like the most on the nose, like, here I am, Hawkman. Marvel's just cooler. I prefer Marvel. Batman's the only one who's ever had that cool. Like, Superman is mad lame. There's nothing interesting about the Superman character to me. Batman, in his rogues gallery and all that, he's the one. But if I were being objective, the Mount Rushmore of superheroes is Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Wolverine, with the next four faces being Wonder Woman, Iron Man after the movies, Captain America, and Hulk. And then if I'm carving out two more spaces, I think I go with Thor and Black Panther. That would be the top 10 superheroes. By the way, somebody had recommended I watch Inside Out. The kids and my wife, they were watching Inside Out last night. I was saying, I cannot focus on Pixar movies. I don't know what it is. Like, there's something about the animation that makes me like not pay attention. I can't explain. And I'm not saying it good, bad, or whatever. It's just something about the way my brain is wired. The Pixar style animation. I've sat through some of those movies before and I've never absorbed them. I don't understand what it is. Jay Lucas says, I respect Diana now. I will no longer call her by derogatory names. That's good. That's big of you, Jay. Liberty says the WNBA might become the financially successful women's sports league. I think it's on the way. Teddy C. Fielder says, why is Collier so overlooked in the league? Nafisa. There's something about the Lynx that's just not they're not a sexy team. But she shouldn't be overlooked. I mean, Nafisa has been right there, I think, beyond, right there beyond Asia Wilson for MVP right now. She's having a great season. She's having a great season. Kayla Mendenhall says, beginning of the season, Wheeler and Clark did not look good on the court. At the same time, now it is much better. Look, I mean, you got to learn to play together. I think Wheeler's done a really nice job for the team. Derby says, why isn't Grace Berger playing? She hasn't really impressed me when she's been in the game either. Nobody that plays that position has impressed me, whether it be Hull or Berger or Wallace. That's why I think they might be better off with Wheeler and just playing three guards. Close Quarter says some people are saying the salary cap may double in the next couple of years. So I think their media rights deal might at least triple. C-Man says, I have to admit, Wheeler has played decent last 2 games for real. Look, she lets them see a different look because she can also handle the ball. And she also can score. Live, Laugh, Love says, why is her double-double garbage? And then accuses me of bias. Yes, not her double-doubles in general. Angel's a terrific rebounder. I'm not dissing her. If you watched that game yesterday, she had like 7 points with a minute left in a game that they were getting smoked down the stretch in the fourth quarter. The Lynx had pulled away. The game was out of hand, and they were trying to get her those points so that she could get the double-double. So she scored 1 basket in the final minute and hit a free throw in the final minute to get from 7 to 10 points. Meaning, it's called stat padding. Everybody's done it throughout history. Look, Caitlin does it. Caitlin does it in the sense of, I have not seen Caitlin take 1 shot with the end of quarter running down when she has the ball in her hand. She's protecting her field goal percentage like LeBron does. I wish she would just throw the ball up at the hoop. So I wasn't trying to be, to diss Angel, but she did stat pad for this double-double yesterday. Not all the other double-doubles in yesterday's game to break that streak. And look, it's the right, look, she now has history. She's now has the longest consecutive double-double streak of any player in league history in a single season. So I'm not mad at them for stat padding, but in yesterday's game, that was stat padding. That's all I'm saying. AJ says, do for DC what you're doing for the WNBA. I mean, that's James Gunn's job. Kevin says, I love DC. I mean, like, Kevin loves all that, like the anti. He's like, counterculture and everything. He's AEW and DC. Anything else?
Not that I like Pepsi better than Coke.
Okay. Did you see Dr. Pepper is past Pepsi?
Dr. Pepper is actually my favorite soda.
Okay.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But I enjoy Pepsi over Coke.
Okay. There you go. Matt Monroe says reality has never looked so good. Where are we at here? Man, I'm trying, guys. So many comments in here. I am trying. How many viewers? It's saying we're on, hundreds. Like almost more than halfway to 1,000 concurrents in here right now. I don't know where they're all from. If they're all from my YouTube thing is not giving me the accurate information right now, but pretty cool. Pretty cool. Coming off that 100,000 view video yesterday. So again, thank you guys for that. Check out Women's Fast Break on SI. The link is below. Check me out on the radio coming up later this week. Infinity Sports Network, Thursday and Friday, 6 to 10 in the morning. Mad Dog Sports Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 82, 3 to 6 in the afternoon, Wednesday through Friday. Denise Salcedo's show, SmackDown reaction show, Friday night. And I'll be here tomorrow to cover the Aces and the Fever game, the All-Star game. I'll be on, writing the pieces and the articles. But again, just a heads up, programming note, this may be the only live stream this week, and then back to our regularly scheduled programming next week. AJ Schreiber says, no coincidence. Las Vegas Aces went downhill as soon as Kevin jumped on their bandwagon. Yeah, the Fever are going to win that game tomorrow. Fever are going to win. Jay Lucas says Ariel Atkins is another all-star, and Kennedy. I'm a big fan of Kennedy Carter's game. She's a scorer. DS says, do you think CC is as good or a better passer than Jokic? They're similar. Different kind of players, though, because CC has the ball in her hands. But, like, when you're talking about elite court vision, right now it's LeBron, Jokic, and Clark, I would say, in basketball. Those three. Luka's got really good vision, too. Roger Beck says, as for the Rookie of the Year race at the end of the season, Caitlin will have set the rookie assist record and more than likely get another game with 25-5, which will tie Catchings with 6. She'll probably become the first rookie to ever have a triple-double. She currently leads the league in three-pointers made and assists. I mean, yeah. Shapiro Production says CC got elbowed by BG. Did you see that? I don't know. It happens. I didn't see any. It happens. Bud Tuning asks, you never played on a basketball team? I did, but I don't know what that is in reference to. I did. I coach youngsters. I still play basketball now, and I coach youngsters. Michael S. says the Lynx game on July 17th will be a big game. That's good to know. Thank you for the note. Seriously, I wasn't trying to be sarcastic. Heather Como says, amen to the sabotage BS. Yeah, it's the stupidest. Like, that's the stuff that makes fans look crazy when you think she's trying to sabotage. Like, if Christy Sires was trying to sabotage Caitlin Clark, that means she's trying to get herself fired. There's a direct correlation between her sabotage and her job status. I promise you that. Pro Charged Moper says, Mavs got an oldie but goodie. Get him in the corner. True, for sure. BT616 says, Pixar refresh rate is 88. That's why you don't like it. Oh, I don't understand. Again, I don't dislike it. I've got no issues with it. Everyone loves it. Like, I'm obviously in the minority. There's just something about my brain where it sends a message to my brain to not pay attention. You like the Ben Affleck version of Batman?
My favorite Batman.
But the Batman superhero movie is garbage. Or Superman. That movie is garbage. And so is Justice League. What movie was he in that was good?
Underrated masterpiece, man.
No.
And the Snyder Cut is a phenomenal film as well.
No, it's not. It's just a longer version of a bad movie. It's what was good? The ones with Bale are good. I didn't really like the third one. The Bane one's not my favorite, but it's of a higher quality than those. Batman Begins I like, and what's the Joker one?
Dark Knight, greatest superhero movie ever made. Movie period ever made.
I'm not mad at that statement. I disagree, but I'm not mad at that statement. It's fine. It's a reasonable statement to make. Was Ben Affleck in a good one?
Yeah, the Snyder Cut.
No, the best ones are the Christian Bale and Michael Keaton. The original Batman is better than any of these other movies. And who was the Adam West?
The Pattinson one is good as well.
No, he's the worst detective in the world in that movie. Like, how do you make a movie about Batman being a detective and he's a bumbling detective that can't solve the easiest thing in front of him? That I didn't understand. Wallace is a cardio machine. I watched it, but Angel gets more. I think Angel gets a lot of sort of love in a weird sense because there's a little bit of a backlash to Clark too. I don't dislike Angel. Let me be 100% clear. I like Angel. I just, and I respect her kind of game. I do. I just think Caitlin is on a different level. That's okay. It's not a diss. Another super chat from AJ. Robin, what did you think of Verstappen's Red Bull turning into Lando's McLaren yesterday during the F1 Austrian GP? How can you even root for him? So is this like a transformer he's talking about? It can, it can go from a McLaren to a... I think Verstappen is... He's got to Verstappen. I don't know. Dwight Schrute says if Fever win tomorrow, anything is possible. Dylan loves Kelly Taylor says Ben Affleck as Batman is the worst ever. Doug Phelps says Adam West is the best. I love that show. Da-da-da-da. Peter Mann says the director's cut of Batman Superman was great. Robin is just an hate. No, that movie sucks. Just like, look, Wolverine was my favorite character growing up. You know what else sucks? X-Men Origins Wolverine. That movie sucks. So does X-Men Apocalypse. Sucks. So does X-Men the Dark Phoenix one that was made. Sucks. Like, I'm not gonna... it has no bias. Batman versus Superman is a terrible movie. The whole Martha thing, everything about it is pretty much terrible. It just is what... Like, I'm sorry. It's terrible. I don't even hate Zack Snyder. Like, I liked Watchmen, and I liked that Superman movie he made. The one with... Was Kevin Spacey in that movie? Are you allowed to say his name? But I like that Superman movie. And I don't even like Superman. But the Justice League and Batman Superman movies are not good. I don't care what you write in the chat. Nancy says, I hope the Fever win. Only if they play a team and not one-on-one basketball. keep Wheeler and Mitchell playing at different times. Well, the problem is they're two of their 6 best players, right? Paris Johnson says Clarkie's in the building. Alvin White Jr. says Batman. Ben Affleck was good in Gone Girl. His Batman movie's been trash. I agree with that. He was good in Gone Girl. He's a good director. I think he's a pretty good director. But he's not a good Batman. Not a good Batman. All right. Where are we at here? Kevin Zwicker says talking F1 to Robin is like speaking Korean to him. Well, I think I understand F1 a little bit more than Korean. No disrespect. I mean, I don't know. Spanish is the only non-English language that I can kind of understand. Just because I took Spanish and I worked in a kitchen in New York for a while, and I had to deal with the guys in the back where we would speak English in the back. I mean, we'd speak Spanish in the back and English in the front, so we could try to help each other learn the respective languages. Man of Steel says BT616. Yeah, I didn't hate that movie. Bryce Smith says Fever ain't beating the Aces. I don't know. We'll see. Jack says, who hates Superman? Not cool. What is cool about Superman? What is interesting about him? Like, what is a character trait that is interesting about Superman? I mean, he's powerful.
He's a fish out of water.
Yeah, he's not interesting. Like, Batman's much more interesting. I like, even Wonder Woman's more interesting. Pupless says Wheeler sucks. No, she doesn't. She's played well. Dylan loves Kelly Taylor says as long as Mitchell plays like yesterday, where she doesn't force the game and lets the game come to her, she will be clutch again. She is the Fever's Kyrie Irving. Yeah, I mean, she's just she's a scorer. She's a bucket. BT616. We finally understand why Robin hates DC movies. The secret is out. Robin is just not happy with the way Robin was treated in the Batman franchise. He hates being side piece. I have told people that I'm named after the lamest superhero. Like when I introduce myself, a lot of dudes can't understand that my name is Robin because it's a girl's name. And I'll say like Batman's partner, but he is the lamest superhero from his outfit to the fact that he's got to ride on the side of the motorcycle and everything. I don't know if that's my, if I hold a grudge because of it, but it's definitely lame. AJ Schreiber with another super chat. Sucks we have to wait until Christmas 25 for Brad Pitt's F1 movie. I bet that ruffles your feathers, doesn't it, Robin? Hey, Brad Pitt's better than Ben Affleck, that's for sure. Yes, he is better. You think Ben Affleck is better than Brad Pitt? No way.
Brad Pitt has one good movie.
No, Brad Pitt has many good movies. The one good movie you probably think is not even good. Fight Club sucks. That movie sucks.
You're a sicko.
I hate that movie.
You're a sicko. You shouldn't be allowed in a movie theater ever again.
Brad Pitt has way better movies than that. Way better movies than that. What was the one he did with the Coen brothers? I rocked with that movie. Burn After Reading. That movie was hilarious. I like that movie. I liked Moneyball. What else has Brad Pitt been in?
The fact that you don't even know should show you how lacking of his filmography there is.
Well, what has Ben Affleck been in?
Ben Affleck's been in many great movies. He's been in Argo. He's been in The Town. He's been in Good Will Hunting. He's been in
Good Will
Air.
Hunting is good, yeah.
I just named you 4 off of the top
Air
of
was
my head.
okay.
It was about the making of the LeBron shoe.
No, it is what it is. Oh, Inglourious Bastards. Brad Pitt is in Inglourious Bastards, which is arguably the greatest movie.
You didn't even realize it until
Well, yeah, because I had to look. No, Inglourious Bastards is up there with the best movies I've ever seen. Yes, it is. Inglourious Bastards is 7,000 times better than Fight Club. It's not even a conversation. And he's in those Oceans movies, which I kind of dug. Lucky Gardenia's dashboard confessional. Did you notice at the end of the game that all the assistant coaches on the floor with sides coming up with a game plan? I mean, look, that's part of the of assistants' jobs, right? DS says the Batman with Robert Pattinson is good. It's not outright terrible like the Affleck joints, but I did have, like I said, I had a problem with the fact that it's supposed to be a detective movie, and he's a terrible detective in it. Like, that kind of bothered me. Like, the clue, it's like, who was the bad guy? The Riddler, right? In that movie? Riddler. Heather says, I think the squirrel went on this stream went on a squirrel tangent. I don't know what a squirrel tangent is, but you're probably right. It sounds about right. Nancy says you are definitely not lame. Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. Jack says Superman is a friendly alien from Krypton who has compassion for earthling human beings, uses his powers for good. Duh. Does any of that sound cool to you? Like, that sounds interesting and cool? No. He's powerful. I'm not fronting on Superman's ability. Like, when you're talking about like number 1 draft picks, he's right up there. Like, if I need somebody to wreck shit, Superman's right up there. But as far as being an interesting character, not so much. Josh B. the Prez, Dick Grayson, and Titans badass. Yeah, well, Robin then became Nightwing, right? That Robin is not soft. My man, Danny Adams. Brad Pitt was good in Bullet Train. Doug Phelps, Snatch was a great Brad Pitt movie. Bobby Yu says, greatest actor of his generation, Edward Norton Jr. Doug Phelps adds, Legend of the Fall. BT616, Robin, please get Batman a cup of coffee. Oh, was that talking about like Ben Affleck liking Dunkin' Donuts so much? Jax asks, Robin Lundberg, what do you consider an interesting character? Okay, so Spider-Man is much more interesting than Superman, because he has struggles, right? Like, he's relatable. He's a kid trying to live a kid's life, balance his dating life, his job, being a kid going to school with being Spider-Man, didn't prepare for these powers and all that. Now, and he's also a wisecracker, so he's entertaining. Wolverine is, an anti-hero who's a tortured soul and all that. Batman even is a little too brooding for my taste, but we know the backstory and losing his family and what he had to do to make himself this Batman persona. Tony Stark, billionaire playboy who's humbled and has to build up his Iron Man suit and all. Superman, just like born really strong and with what? What is his character depth? His disguise is some glasses. Sorry. Bobby Yu says this chat is filled with Inglourious Bastards. That is a great movie. I'm sorry. Inglourious Bastards is a great, great movie. Another AJ super chat. When I go to the F1 British Grand Prix this weekend, I'm going to recruit a bunch of blokes to join this chat. Robin will be number 1 in England. F1 rules. My neighbor across the street is English. He was really into the England game yesterday. Dylan loves Kelly Taylor. Superman is more for the women, while Spider-Man universe is for the men. Is that because he's good looking? Is that, Spider-Man is... Look, Spider-Man was not my favorite superhero growing up. Spider-Man is objectively the best superhero. He's the best superhero. He's relatable. His suit is fire. His action is fire. Kids love him. Big Ro is a bigger Miles Morales fan than he is even a Peter Parker fan. Nancy adds that Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman in Seven is a great thriller. Yes, I like that better than Fight Club. Michael LeBlanc, we have switched to the DC Marvel Challenge. DS says Peter Parker or Miles Morales. Like I said, Big Ro is a Miles Morales guy. I'm a huge fan of Miles. See, I grew up with Peter, so it's tough, right? Like, it's hard for me to say Peter's not the best Spider-Man because my whole life Peter Parker was Spider-Man. But at the same time, I can easily make the case for Miles, And Miles is such a organically done character in the sense of, being from a different background, being from a different race and all that stuff. Yet it all ties together in that Spider-Man mantra that they put out there in the Spider-Verse, right? Like that everybody could be Spider-Man. And he's rocking the Jordans. So, I don't know, maybe Miles. We'll see. You know what it'll come down to? How Miles does in live action MCU. Moish says Diana Taurasi was a huge moment and reverse my poor opinion of her. Healing is what we need. celebrating talent and new talent is what we need. That's a good message. I agree with you. And that was the theme of this stream, the theme of this show, and probably a good note to sign off on, as we got to see what I think was very healthy for the WNBA and women's basketball, with Diana Taurasi showing love to Caitlin Clark. I appreciate all the love y'all show me, honestly, truly. It means the world. Like, subscribe to the channel. Check out Women's Fast Break, link in the description below. Check me out on the radio coming up this week. Again, this may be the last live stream of the week just because of scheduling and the holiday and all that. But we will be back next week on the regular schedule with multiple live streams, if that is indeed the case. Let me get AJ's last super chat in here. Best DC movie, Vixen. Can't say Margot. Give me Anne Hathaway, Selena Kyle. Bryce Smith says, thanks again, Robin. Thank you, Bryce. Doug Phelps says, night, Robin. Another good stream. Appreciate it. Yeah. And then Kevin Fitzgerald adds, and to give her credit, she was positive even after losing the game. Salute to the great Diana Taurasi. I'm glad to see the tone change in here for her as well, because she is a true legend of the game. Mama Goat, recognizing baby goat. Real recognize real. Appreciate y'all. Yeet.